जय श्री माता जी। अब हम सब मिलके श्री माता जी के श्री चरणों को प्रणाम कर कर कुंडलिनी उठाकर बंधन लेंगे। Let us all bow down at Shri Mataji's lotus feet. Raise Kundalini and take Bandhan. महामंत्र एवं श्री गणेश मंत्र।
श्री महालक्ष्मी महासरस्वती महाकाली त्रिगुणात्मिका की साक्षात श्री आदि शक्ति माता जी श्री निर्मला देवी नमो नमः। ॐ त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री कलकी साक्षात् श्री साक्षात् श्री गणेश साक्षात् श्री आदि शक्ति माता जी श्री निर्मला देवी नमो नमः।
जय श्री माता जी। अब हम अपने चित्त को सहस्तार पर रखते हुए श्री माता जी की अमृतवाणी को सुनेंगे। Keeping our attention on Sahasrara, now we listen Shri Mataji's Amritwani. Jai Shri Mataji.
Now Christ is there, so Kundalini moves on till he is everywhere. He is at Muladhara, he is at every chakra, because he is the essence. He is the essence. Tattva must. He is the Tattva. You must give them the translation we have. You were here the other day for the puja? You were? Alright. we have got the translation, you Brian will give you. Of the translation of the worship of Sri Ganesha, which was written, I think, about 14,000 years back. It tallies exactly with him. You will be amazed. If you hear that, you'll be amazed that it was written 14,000 years back. But the Christians won't look out of Bible. You see, to them, Bible is written. It's not. How can it be? How can Bible or the whole universe cannot contain him? How can you put him in a book and say this is what it is, and according to your limited brains, you cannot explain. You cannot explain. So, this is what it is. We come to this evolutionary thing. Then they incarnated and they were settled down here as Mahavira and Buddha. So we have two centers here of Mahavira Buddha. But at the ultimate, when he comes as the Kalaki, then they are part and parcel of his being, and he uses them as one of the Rudras, the destructive forces. He has 11 Rudras. You see, the 12 Rudras are the Shiva, the entire, and he is the 11th Rudra. So Christ is one less than the complete destruction. You can imagine. 12 Rudras are of Shiva, out of which he is the 11 Rudras which is here on our head. And once we start getting these 11 Rudras, we are in for a disease like cancer or any very destructive. Cancer disease, you find it here immediately. If somebody has 11 Rudras, he is in for either cancer or for maladies or something. Of course, there are other symptoms also. You get the paravani, you say the throbbing here, you see the throbbing starts from here, you may get it. Because this is the void. And the dharma, when it is destroyed completely, this builds in. Because these are the 10 of dharmas plus 1 of man. This is what is very important. The 11 Rudras shown here. So, anybody who has 11 Rudras, we just get after them. Any Sahajogi settles down with 11 Rudras. You see, all those gurus are giving part of it. Either they give the right side and the left side. Thank God. So this builds in. But if you go to 3-4 gurus of 2 different types, you might develop the whole. You see, they are left-sided or right-sided gurus. These horrible gurus I am saying, the fake ones. So they will give you either the right side or the left side. Now if you go to the both, you may develop it. Even you may develop it with the drugs, also 11 as possible. But not to that extent as the gurus do. Because if you bow yourself before these people, you are not to bow before anybody else but the incarnations. Even the gurus, anybody you are not to bow. Only to bow before the incarnation. And incarnation, one has to know how to recognize. So in realization, till you are realized, I don't allow anybody to touch my feet. It's not the privilege given to everyone. But Indians are so clever, Before I say anything, they are just there. 6,000 people imagine touching my feet and the feet becomes like that. 6,000 people can. And if you tell them you are not to touch mother's feet, they'll touch them. But they must bow. Because they know, they are very clever, you see. In the knowledge of the roots, Indians are the cleverest. They know everything, how to attain. Because their aim of life is to attain self-realization. Nothing else is important. You see, the basis of Indian life is you have to receive your self-realization. As soon as a child is born, you go to an horoscope person, he will immediately tell you whether he will get his realization or not in his lifetime, whether he has a guru or not, if he is going to meet a real guru or not, in the horoscope. Like my grandchild was born and we all cast our horoscopes at the very beginning. He said a great news came, you see, with a wire. They sent a telegram, we had sent it to my husband's family people, that her guru is in the family. She'll find her guru in the family itself, and the guru is a goddess. It was all written down from them. Can you imagine? It came as a wire from there. That's the most important thing, that you have a guru in the family. So the Indian life is, to them it doesn't matter if your carpet is spoiled, doesn't matter is this thing, but the chances of self-realization, if they are spoiled by anything, then that is inauspicious. So inauspiciousness is a very important in India. to look after the inauspiciousness. This is inauspicious. You shouldn't do it like this. This is inauspicious. You see, they are very careful about inauspiciousness because the chances of self-realization, which is the ultimate goal of their lives, will be spoiled. But of course, the Western are intellectuals. I don't know what to say. The Westernized ones, the Westernized Indians are horrible. Some of them have become gurus, some have become, they are horrible. They are making use of it. So now we have up to the point I have told you about this, and now I have given you about little basis about the evolution part. But to go through it in the Advent, Gregor has written quite a lot. Have you seen that? Gregor has written on. Have you got the Advent? So as he has given me a present, have you got an Advent to be presented to him? If you have, please bring one. Otherwise, I'll send him over. To you, the Advent. That book we give to a Sahaj Yogi, not only to the realized soul, but to a Sahaj Yogi to read. Because, you see, reading can cause problems.
Translate into English the Rudra. What does that mean?
Ekadasha Rudra?
Yes. What is the English?
Kalaki is what you call, Kalaki is what is called?
The second coming of Christ. The rider.
The rider.
But if
Kalaki.
you said if you have the 12,
11. The 12 one is Sadashiva. You see the last. When he destroys the whole thing disappears into the last part of it.
how can the false guru give you the...
You see, because you go against it. Na? Ekadasha Rudra is spoiled by false guru. Not gives you. Gives a problem for you now. Yes. Because they can't give it. You see, it is to be released. Ekadasha. So now, all right, down for you. Can you give me a pen? Now here you have painting which you can go through it at the basis of it. You will see all that is done. Now see the symbol of serenity. The Gregor is another intellectual, horribly like that. 2 horns were coming out of his head when he came. So I allowed him to talk, you see. Then when he wrote this book, poor fellow, you see, I gave him, of course, the way he wanted to write and all that. And I tortured his life. A year he came and stayed in London, you see, and every day he used to come, I would see from top, he was pulling his ears, you see, putting his ego on one side, you see, coming down with the script. So first thing I noticed was the book was written in a language which was very harsh, extremely sharp. I said, you see, how can you have a language like that? After all you're talking about, but it has to be sweet. So I sweetened it a little bit, you see, I put little honey here and there to make it little sweet, you see. That was quite troubling him. Then, you see, he had written the first chapter quite sweetly, where he introduced me and how he came and why he came and all that. But the second chapter started, which is all intellectual, we can call it the intellectual garbage in the head, you see. That all came out in the second and the third chapter. Like suddenly you come up from a very sweet voyage and suddenly you find Rock of Gibraltar, you see, in front of you. So I said, God, this is the Rock of Gibraltar. He got a fright. He said, Mother, no, then I will not publish this book. So I didn't know how to conquer him, you see. So I said, all right. I got some 2-3 critics to read the book, and they said, first chapter we could read, but second rigmarole we know. So we don't want to read the second and the third. So I said, now Gregor, this is the problem with this. So I said, let us make it sweeter. At the end of the book, when we finished it, I said, Gregor, we have to put these chapters at the end. And he got a shock, real fit, I tell you. He said, Mother, how can you do that, to put these 2 chapters at the end when it is in reference with all other chapters? I said, when I corrected the book, I saw to it, I knew that I was going to put it at the end, so there is no change needed at all in the whole book. So he put it at the end of it. So I said, it's nice for the intellectuals who still do not feel satisfied with the book, they can read it. You see, like the cows, you see, when they eat something, they take out. So let them do it till they are tired of mastication. Then they will be all right. So that those 2 chapters are at the end. And that is how the book is written. He's a scholar, I must say he's a scholar. But he says, Mother, I'm not a scholar. It's the first book he has written in his lifetime. But he says, when I started writing, all these quotations came to him from somewhere, of which he was never aware. He had not read so many of them, but then when he went and saw them, it was there. But I said, you must have read in your memory also they were there, but you might not be remembering or whatever it is. But it all came so clear. He said that my memory became so much open, just like a picture coming before me. And the whole thing, then he wrote it. So the book is very written with scholarly. And it's not at all naive. So what is your name?
Richard.
Richard?
Richard.
Penn.
P-A-Y-N-E.
P-A-Y-N-E. See, I must say, when I'm 60 years of age, I write like a little girl. I hope you don't mind. My handwriting is just like a little girl. You got this.
Thank you very much.
This is this one. Thank you. So you can read the complete, it is given what is the relationship of all these people to each other. It's a big story. And also Tantrism. On Tantrism he's come to the point. Now he's writing another book on Advent, based on Advent in French. Because this book we published ourselves with our own money and is only distributed to people who are Sahajogis. It's not meant for people who are not yet Sahajogis. So we give this book to only those people who are Sahajogis. It's very limited. And you have got one? Oh, then I'll give you one. Please bring one more. I didn't know. I thought, Barbara, I didn't give him.
No, Mother, you never brought one.
Look at her, eh? It's a secret.
But he's looked at my copy some, but he doesn't have one of them.
No, but you must have his own to study, all right? Now, they are great people. They are going to do great jobs on this level. Now, this is the other way around you have put it, I think. Can you imagine this photograph was taken by someone who had never touched the camera before? The first photograph. Some of my photographs also. One of them has got, have you got that one with the lights coming in?
Yes.
Yeah. It's a big one now we have. So many types, but this one was 6 photographs. They got it in a village where they saw the light coming on my head from the top. And this photograph. Now, what's your full name?
E-W-E-R-T, Ewart, spelled E-W-E-R-T. E-W. E-R-T.
E-R-T.
As far as I know, it means shepherd.
Yurt is shepherd. And what's the
Cousin, C-O-U-S-I-N-S.
May God bless. May God bless. So that you will see the continuous flow of this spiritual power in creating these beautiful flowers on this earth, these great incarnations and these great prophets, and they are all related to one force, which is the culminating point today, where so many flowers at this blossom time are there. That's why there is seeking. It was never before like. And just they have to become the fruits. The time has come. It is there. Now I would request all of you who have been academically so much alert that the essence of the academics must be first seen. Essence. If the essence is not tackled, then it's all artificial. So the essence is for the good of the spirit. Sahitya. In Sanskrit, you see, it is called, in every Indian language, the literature is called as Sahitya. Hit means the good for the spirit. So the one which has that essence which is good for the spirit. Otherwise it is not literature. The rest is not literature, it's trash. That's trash, is useless. Only whichever is good for the spirit is Sahitya. in Sanskrit language. They were so clear cut about it. See, they were not having any compromise. There's no compromise. When, you see, Manu said that you must speak the truth. Satyam bruve, priyam bruve. And it should be dear, it should be sweet, it should be loving. People, priyam means the one that is dear, that is loving, that is soothing, and that you like. Priya means which is darling. So they said, how can it be? Because if you tell the truth, that may not be Priya. So Krishna said, all right, we'll put it like this. Satyam bruvet, hitam bruvet, priyam bruvet. Tell the truth, which is good for the spirit, which will be ultimately be Priya, is a darling thing. Then you will not ask for anything. Now look at this Saju. For them, the most important thing are the vibrations. If the vibrations are not all right, they are disturbed. First thing is vibration. Last thing is vibration, because that is the presence of spirit in our consciousness. So once you get the nectar, then you don't want all these things. That's the point. So the essence of academic life is the truth, which is darling, or we can say which is Priya, is there's no word exactly, loving, or we can say which appeals in a loving way, appeals not to the brain but to the heart, and which is just for the good well-being of the spirit, which is appealing to the spirit. That's the essence of academic pursuits. Otherwise, it has no meaning. It's just madness, going like this, like that, like that. You see, it's just mad. You must come back to the roots. Because the attack came. Attack definitely came to you people. There were attacks from every angle, as I was telling, that Brian says that there were unholy trinities, but I say it's more than that. That on your architecture, Gropius, he attacked. On your music, Wagner. Then there's another one who said there is no God, forget it. All these attacks came to you about 1919, can you imagine? 1919. Freud, another attack. He wanted to make human beings into sex points. Reduce them to that level. All these attacks came to you and root was cut off. And the shoot started growing. And now the shoot realizes the root is missing. So you have to become subtler to go to the knowledge of roots. So you must get your realization. Even the music has lost its roots. The music goes on like that. It never comes back to the roots. So this attack came. Like Vivekananda when he first came, he attacked him. Definitely did that. Vivekananda was another false man who came here in about 19, what year he came here?
It was the Chicago World Fair, I think it was
1927?
It was 19, it was earlier than that. I think it was around 1903 or something like that.
No. Should be 1927 or 24 or 26, something like that. It was that after my birthday. But all these nonsensical people, you see.
Well, it was a World's Fair, I remember that.
Huh?
It was one of the World's Expositions. It was a World's Fair, Mother, when he came.
World's, yeah. He came for the international conference.
Parliament of Religion.
Yes, Parliament. Look at that. Since then it started, the unity, to form the unity, see? And he came here. And what he said was nothing without the essence. So I call him anti-God. Because without the essence, if you talk, it is anti-God. He talked without the essence. Essence is the unity. To find the unity. If you find the essence, it has to unite. And that's how the attack started first. Not that what he said was not truth, but partial truth can be very dangerous. More dangerous than that. So the attack started gradually. And his guru was a hypocrite, a complete hypocrite actually. This Ramakrishna Paramahansa was a complete hypocrite. He married a woman before the fire, and then he calls her the mother. All kinds of dramas he played. He is the dramatist. That's never done in Indian life. You see, and in India, his photograph is abhorred in families. Because what a man he was. He had a wife, you love your wife as a wife, or you love her as a mother. It's nonsense. And she used to wear all the marks of a married lady. You see, she used to cover her. We have these things for a married lady. This she used to wear, and that kangan we have. All that she used to wear. And who was her husband then? If he was her son. Such a confusion he created, you see. He's the most untraditional man I can ever think of. While people like him because he suffered, he looked so miserable. You see, that's what people like. They want people to suffer. It's going on. This gentleman who came, what was his name who came?
Lex Hickson.
Huh?
Lex Hickson.
Imagine, he wants people to suffer. He says we have a right to suffer. All right, go on suffering. He doesn't want to find the solution. They want to play with it, you see. Because if they find the solution, how will his work go on? So they don't want to give any solutions. Because if you give the solution, then you can't talk of sufferings anymore. There's no suffering. Christ is there. You see, they want to deny Christ. At every point when they talk of suffering, they are denying Christ. Because when Christ is awakened within you, He sucks in all your suffering. It's written down. And the missionaries who went from here to India never told that Christ is born. What they told about a Christ who Indians could not recognize. See, not Mahavishnu, who is there to suck your... Because they never knew a word of Kundalini, so Indians got a fright, first of all, with them. And they could not talk of second birth as we know of, as the real happening. And they talked of this baptism, that also Indians couldn't understand. And thirdly, they had no idea about Mahavishnu at all. They never read any scriptures, Indian scriptures, to find out also. So close to it. And they converted people in such a funny way, you can't imagine. They used to put a loaf in the water of a well. They would say, this is the beef that we are putting. And the people were then discarded from Hindu religion, so they became Christians. Imagine, these donkeys becoming Christians, what they... Misrepresentation of Christ was the greatest sin Christians have committed, the missionaries actually. Because they never understood him in the essence that he was Mahavishnu. He came on this earth to suck the ego and super ego. That's why you have to pass through him at the end. If you do not pass through him, who will suck the ego and super ego? But actually you pass through him throughout because he is the essence, you see. So ultimately he is the vice chancellor of every university, I call him. Even when you get realization, he has to be there to give you the degree. And he sucks. And when he sucks, then the Kundalini rises. That's what is Christ. And when I went to this unity church, you see, I found the unity is of all the booths and all the horrible devils. They have got Rajneesh. How can Rajneesh speak near Christ? I can't understand how can it be in the church. Christ said, you say about adultery, thou shalt not commit adultery. I say, thou shalt not have adulterous eyes. See the essence of it. See the essence. He talked of the essence throughout. And these people are having Rajneesh as one of the persons as spiritual. Unity church. And when of course I couldn't help it. You see, I was a guest, but I had to tell them that this is the thing and this is what has happened to you and it's wrong. This is unity of all the devils you are having. I told them frankly. So they had anger on me that she was a guest and she should not have criticized her. But I said, how I was a guest? You never paid for my coming. You earned all the money when I spoke. They earned every day, about 700 people were there. They charged them, I think, £5 or something each day. They earned all that money. They never paid even for my conveyance, for my food or anything. So how was I their guest? Actually, I forced upon themselves and I... Actually, it is not the relationship of a guest. When you don't even feed your guest, how is he your guest? That's what it is. I hope they will come round because all gurus are now one by way. But America is to be saved at any cost. Today I told her what is America and then New York is Hamsajak. The Hudson River is close by. And this is the ridge. And this is that what island? Tatma Island is the... You see, this is a very important point. You know, this is the whole self-respect of the whole world, of the whole universe is here. The nose is very important. If somebody's nose is cut, that means he's insulted forever. But if Americans themselves are cutting their nose, what can you do? Thank you very much. And I hope next time when I come, I'll give you more elaborately anything. If you have any problems, you write to us, all right? And we'll let you know about all those things, whatever you think proper. And now, as you were saying, is the whole Kundalini. So you will see how these 10 incarnations and other incarnations are Krishna's incarnation, then Christ's incarnation, Rama's incarnation, the goddess's incarnation. All that is described.
That's for how many years? Since 1976, we've been working on a project that I spoke to you last night about, called World Spirituality.
This is the essence. Again, the essence.
Yes, the essence. And
yes.
We attempted to create a community of academicians around the world. Probably, what would you say, 400 perhaps altogether, in all the different traditions. And we chose editors for each of 25 volumes on the criterion that you just mentioned, that we wanted the academicians who were in touch with the essence.
And essence should be the unit,
Yes.
to show the point where it is said the same thing. Now the only problem that is with academician is that if they know the essence of the whole thing is that present, you see, everything is dealt with the present. For example, in my lifetime, what is most important is raising up the Kundalini. So I am not worried about other things. That's my job, you see. At the time of Christ, his main thing was to be crucified, to put there. But his message is not crucifixion, that is his doing. Because he had to be there on that point. It's a very subtle point. But that was his doing. The message is resurrection. Message is resurrection, that's the essence of Christ's life. And the resurrection now is happening, as Muhammad Sahib has pointed out, this is the time of resurrection. You see, to me, they sing the same song, elaborately, more, but according to the movement of the time. So today we are at the time of resurrection, where we have to enter into the kingdom of God, into the limbic area. But those people who are not, Ekadasha is time. You see, but that's why I like the Sistine Chapel, where Michelangelo has shown Christ, really the real way you see Christ there. And this side and that side, at the Agya. Even Blake has shown Agya. I have a painting of Blake. Absolute Agya he's shown. How God himself is pressing it down. You see, you've seen that one. That's typical. That's nothing but Agya itself. But who reads Blake? Who reads Blake? And Blake, I don't know if you have mentioned Blake in Advent, no. So the Blake, later on. Is there any paper on Blake we have done? But why not the Kundalini in this thing is Blake has there? The evolution of Kundalini book. Also give them if you can find. You take their addresses you can. But you see, on Blake I have spoken on this. He went to this extent, you see, that he has even described the houses where I lived. The first one, he said, the first beacon will be lit in Surrey Hills, where I lived first. Then about our Lambeth Vale, where we have an ashram, that her sinews will vibrate. You see, such details he has given. Come to Lambeth Vale. Then Jerusalem is to be, means this is going to be the pilgrimage. The last house that we have now is on a Twyvern brook, and it's written there that it will be on that brook behind the Kensington Garden, is exactly there. And the Sahajogis are the golden builders because they have painted some parts in the cornices with gold. The golden builders. And so beautifully written, the hearth are thanksgiving. And the floors are honesty. It's beautifully he has done it. You see, if you read him, you'll be amazed. Jerusalem, in that he has described all that. So, I mean, I must say the Blake is the same as Markandeya, the one who came about 14,000 years back to talk about Christ. And Blake who came to talk about me about 100 years back in England. Is it there?
This is the book that has it.
Milton. Yes, you can read in this one and they will give you exact pages and all that. It's wonderful. He says the men of God will become prophets and they'll have powers to make others prophets. I mean, and Nightingale, where we now have an ashram, is actually, they came and told me that mother, all kinds of birds are coming there and they're singing songs and in that area, and it's so beautiful you can't imagine. And then they found out. You see, it always happens after the event they find out. They found out in Blake, Nightingale described that all the birds will come and sing the songs and all that is there. And I laid the foundations in Lambeth Way, and it's written foundations will be laid in Lambeth. And this happened later. They found it out. I mean, I laid the foundations earlier, but they found out later and they sent the thing to me when I was in Switzerland. He's Markandeya, no doubt about it. Tremendous. He's Kabira. He's Markandeya. It's the same. The great principle. He's Mahavira. Same person. He's a vibration. But nobody understood his value in England. He's a vibration.
If they like that coffee,
Oh, awesome. Good idea. Please have it from Sir Yogi's. Just you can go through this later. It's very beautiful. See, he has also shown here. You see, in his own way, he has shown his Kundalini, the sides and all that. You may write to me. I will now go to India. If you can make it possible to come to India, will be good.
Well, I hope to see you in India. I will be
Good.
in India at that time.
Oh, I
But
see.
I unfortunately can't
Yes,
make
but
the whole trip.
you see, it's better than if I go to the villages. It's very difficult. You see, I don't want to go through those hazards. To live in villages with 180 people it's so difficult in India, you know. But they want to go to villages only. They love it. So I have to go to villages in the first part of my tour. But the second part of my tour, I'll be in Delhi, in a more sophisticated place where you have proper living accommodation. But to me it does not matter, you see, wherever I live, where there are Sir Yogis, I really enjoy. Actually, you'll be amazed that my family is a old royal family. My father's family was an old royal family called as Shalivahanas, is a dynasty which lived at the time of Shri Krishna also. And somebody called Babruvahan, who came about 2000 years back, started a calendar of Shalivahana in India, in that part of Maharashtra, where Sainath also worked in that area. That is a place, a place of the saints, because these 10 great saints, which were called as Nath, incarnations of the same principle, worked in that area. That is actually a place of such vibrations that Shri Rama and Sita also came there and walked bare feet through that place. So the whole place is extremely vibrated, and you have temples about 13,000 years old, and it's a very, very ancient place. And there my forefathers lived, and you'll be amazed that my work is really there. Where my father never went there, and neither my mother went there, but my father and mother lived in their childhood in 2 villages, I should say, where the rulers lived. And now they had a old fortress. I think you have seen that fortress, I should. Yes, there they lived. And my mother lived in the other village, and there's a big river going in between. And then in their own family, about 3 generations back, they had to take to Christianity for a certain purpose that you see, these Hindus and the Brahmins tortured my great-great-grandmother, I should say, who became a widow. You see, they used to marry girls at a very young age because of the Muslim invasion. And then this girl became a widow, and she was a very powerful woman. And they tortured all the widows in those days. The Brahmins had devised methods of torturing these widows, you see. They were to cut their hair, they had to sit in a dark room, and they were not to show their faces to anyone, and they were given the remains of the food, and they were ill-treated like anything. That's why they took to Sati also in those days, you see. That's why they took to Sati. Now this lady was tortured like this. So the brother felt that he should now give up Hinduism, because the Brahmins were so horrible, and he took to Christianity. That's how he became a Christian. And he married her to, we are Rajputs, we are Kshatriyas, we are the warrior class, see, because the king class. And he married her to a Brahmin. His brother, his friend who was a Brahmin, So he married her to a Brahmin. That's how two families came into Christianity. But my mother and father both were very learned people. My mother was a scholar of Sanskrit and of mathematics. She was a mathematician, and so she knew about the Shankaracharya and all that. But the Christians didn't see the sense, because my father was shocked the way Christians were. I mean, they never saw. He had all Christians who were just converts for money and this and that. And he was the first Indian Christian to be elected, because not as a minority. Not as a minority, you see, because minorities were just nominated. But he was the elected member of a general election, you see. He was the first one to be elected in the Central Assembly, and then to the Constituent Assembly, then to the Parliament. And now my brother is also a member of the Parliament, and now he is a minister appointed for what you call this telecommunication and all this, in charge of newspapers and things like that. So all this is my mother's family. My father's family. In mother's family, you must have heard about Shivaji. His mother was Jizai, a very powerful woman. So my mother is from that family, called Zadhavas. From that family she comes. So I mean, it's a family background is also so full of what you call Rajasa, is the activity, you see, activity. And Shivaji was a very dharmic man, very dharmic, you see, very religious person, and extremely of a very broad-mindedness. Broad mind and what you call a learned man. And his brother went down to the south and started a very big library, and the south took so many things from Maharashtra. So it's a country where Maharashtra is a place where great things have happened. So it is called as Maharashtra. Maha means the great, nation, the great nation. And in that area, Sahaja Yoga is settled down best. It's because the people are not materialistic. They are very idealistic, except for this horrible clan of certain Brahmins. Now so many Brahmins are my disciples. Very staunch Brahmins, who were Agnihotris, means they used to have these yajnas in their houses. 1,000 in one family. And he is my disciple now. Rajwani, he's become my disciple. So they are also breaking. But one thing, you see, because we are not so organized, it's very easy to break. But the organized religions have, you see, their own ideas put on your head. You can't break. You see, if you break, you are not a Christian. My father, when he went to jail fighting the British, he was driven out of Christianity because he went to jail, as if Christ was born in England. Yeah. Absurd, isn't it? Amazing. How we have.
Our work has brought to a point of creation of a new company, which is a publishing and communications company rooted in the spirit, in a group of people who wish to come together to live as a contemplative Christian community, and to convene other communities from other traditions, to work together to provide communications that have this spirit, and to do this in a way that gives witness to the kind of cooperation among peoples of various traditions. Do you have any sense of this?
That's a very good thing. But again, I would say that the essence of the whole thing should be to bring about into the light the factors which are uniting us. That's the main thing, uniting us. And the dogmas and things, you see, which are making us hate each other.
The first community is called John 23rd House. And
What?
John 23rd, after Pope John 23rd, who said we should emphasize that which we have in common rather than that which separates us. Is that, would you feel that is inconsistent with what you're saying?
I think, you see, as it is, it's all right with popes, but you know what has happened. John is different. I mean, he was unique. I must say John was unique. But people see Pope as something, you see, a dynasty coming out. Like we can say Adi Shankaracharya was unique. Then all the other Shankaracharyas now are horrid people, We cannot call them anywhere near. You see, so the Pope, if you say, as soon as even the Catholics today, I would say Gregor himself was a Catholic, he went as a priest and he did all that. But you see, when he went to Vienna, no, when he went to Rome, you see, their embassy was in a residence of a pope or some sort of a thing. And he was amazed because in the bedrooms were all the pictures of the nude women and all that was there. And you see his eyes popped out, he just couldn't believe how could they lead a life like that. So the Pope means all that. You see, it is very generalized thing. It's very generalized. If you say a Pope, it becomes very generalized. And poor John, who was so great a man, you see, he was a realized soul, no doubt. He was a realized soul. But he was crushed, I tell you, he was crushed by all the organization and all that. So, I mean, I must say that you have to give him an importance. But for the whole organization, if you give a name like that, nobody will understand. You see, I know he is a realized soul.
Amity House.
That's
is the
better.
name
That would be much better. Give
Would
some
that be a
abstract.
good name?
Give any abstract name or amity of essences, you can put it. Amity of essences.
Amity.
In essences or of essences. If you can bring the essence,
Of the essence.
the essence of the.
William Blake make a nice sound.
No, but Blake don't know. You see what I'm saying? It is, as he says, it's an universal thing, isn't it? Now for an Indian, Blake doesn't ring anything, you see. But something abstract, if you talk to them, then they understand. And then, because if they say Pope, 99% like Muslims, Hindus, or any other community will say, oh, Baba, Pope. Because to them, John, they don't know. Actually, you see, nobody knows John.
This was only a house for those who were coming out of the Christian tradition. And we would have other houses that would reflect great figures from other traditions.
Yeah.
But under the same roof.
That you can have. That's a different thing.
Yeah.
That's a different thing because first of all you must describe the whole tree. And then the different flowers. It's perfectly okay. No harm. No harm at all in that. But first of all we must know that we are standing under one tree. That is God. Our God is our Father. You see, this is just to please Him I am doing all this. But if He is not pleased, He may destroy. It's just a witness. He's the only spectator I have to please. See, so we have to please Him. And if you have the whole description as a big tree and then the little flowers that have come out of the same tree, it's beautiful. Then it sounds very. So the whole thing should be described as something like that. And it will be very great, I tell you, very great thing you will do. Very great thing in the honor of religion, in the honor of your God, your Father. That will be the biggest thing you can do, is to show that He resided in our collectivity, in our oneness. He is one. And He can't divide. That is a very great thing. So I bless you again and again for this great one. May God bless you. And the other thing, as I told you also, you give it a thought.
जय श्री माता जी। अब हम सब मिलके श्री माता जी की श्री चरणों की आरती के लिए खड़े होंगे। Now we will all stand for आरती of श्री माता जी holy lotus feet। जय श्री माता जी।
सबको दुआ देना माँ, सबको दुआ देना। जय निर्मल माता जी, जय निर्मल माता जी। दिल में सदा रहना माँ, सबको दुआ देना, सबको दुआ देना माँ, सबको दुआ देना। जय निर्मल माता जी, जय निर्मल माता जी। दिल में सदा रहना माँ, सबको दुआ देना। जग में संकट कारण कितने लिए अवतार माँ, कितने लिए अवतार। विश्व में तेरी महिमा, विश्व में तेरी महिमा। तू गंगा यमुना माँ, सबको दुआ देना, सबको दुआ देना माँ, सबको दुआ देना। जय निर्मल माता जी, जय निर्मल माता जी। दिल में सदा रहना माँ, सबको दुआ देना। जो भी संत जनों की धरती है भारत माता, माँ है भारत माता। इस धरती पर आकर, इस धरती पर आकर दुख से दूर करना, माँ सबको दुआ देना, सबको दुआ देना, माँ सबको दुआ देना। जय निर्मल माता जी, जय निर्मल माता जी। दिल में सदा रहना, माँ सबको दुआ देना। जब दिल में आए तब मधुर संगीत सुन लो, माँ मधुर संगीत सुन लो। होए सके जो सेवा, होए सके जो सेवा हमसे करा लेना, माँ सबको दुआ देना, सबको दुआ देना, माँ सबको दुआ देना। जय निर्मल माता जी, जय निर्मल माता जी। दिल में सदा रहना, माँ सबको दुआ देना, माँ सबको दुआ देना, माँ सबको दुआ देना। त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री महालक्ष्मी महासरस्वती महाकाली त्रिगुणात्मिका कुंडलिनी साक्षात् श्री आदिशक्ति माता जी। श्री निर्मला देवी नमो नमः। ॐ त्वमेव साक्षात् श्री कल की साक्षात् श्री कल की साक्षात श्री शक्ति माता जी श्री निर्मला देवी की जय।
श्री माता जी, आपका कोटि कोटि धन्यवाद कि आपने अपने श्री चरणों की आराधना करने का सुअवसर दिया। Thank you, Shri Mataji, for giving us this opportunity to worship your holy lotus feet. Jai Shri Mataji.